This is Larry the Barberman, and today I am at the Primera Hair Show in Florida. I'm privileged to have Angel Raw. Angel Raw is a multiple barbershop owner, a multiple award-winning barber, and an Andis Educator. I'm interviewing Angel on the recommendation of Eileen Nunez of Great Clips. So Angel, thank you for having me. You're very welcome. Eileen recommended me to you, so I feel like I had to interview you. So I know it's a little bit random, but we'll get it done. So I just want to first start off by asking you about your entry into barbering.
I started at a real young age, man. I started when I was 16. At the time, my dream was to become a professional skateboarder. It's kind of funny, but that was my goal at the time. And I was riding for a couple companies as far as sponsors for my skateboarding brand, but the shop that I was actually riding for closed down. So what I did was my mom had a pair of clippers sitting in the garage or whatever. She's a cosmetologist, so she was doing a little bit of hair at the time. And so I picked them up and I started doing haircuts for my buddies just for a little bit of extra cash so I could continue to, you know, buy boards, buy shoes, and stuff like that to continue going after that dream of becoming a skateboarder, professional skateboarder. So, but once I picked up the clippers, man, I just left all that behind and I just fell in love with it, man, the industry. I ended up going to school 4 years later, got my license in 2010. Ever since then, I started competing. You know, I've been to 50 plus trade shows. You know, I've been all across the US. Hopefully soon I'll be able to come to the UK and visit you, you know.
Well, that's why I'm here today.
Yeah, so I want to come out there and visit you though, you know. But, you know, it's been a long road, it's been a blessing, and I'm just thankful for everything that the Clippers have led me to do.
Okay, so I introduced you as a multiple award-winning barber. Name me some of the awards and competitions and battles and so forth that you've won, and tell me which one of them meant the most to you.
Okay. When I first came into the industry, it was Barber Brothers Hair Show. That was one of the first shows that I went to, and I went with my mom. Like I said, she was a cosmetologist. She kind of told me about the show. I also heard about the show in school. So I went there, and that kind of opened my eyes to what the barber industry was. You know, I didn't know there was so much you could do with a barber license. I didn't know people were cutting celebrities' hair. I didn't even think of it. I didn't fathom that, you know, you could be an educator, you can go and compete and do all this. So when I went to the show, it was kind of like an eye-opener. Like, you know, it really gave me inspiration. I met a guy at the Barber Brothers show, and he invited me to a networking event, and it was called Barbers at the Round Table by Curtis Smith. The whole Exotics team was there, Jesse Lima, Danny from Andis, you know, Kenny Duncan, all the big names in the industry were at this event. So when I came, I was, you know, it was my first show ever. I was just in the background kind of just watching, and it just inspired me, you know, to want to compete and to want to do the things that they were doing. But I had to start somewhere. So my next step when I got home, and I started looking up competitions, I wanted to get my name out there. I wanted people to know who I was, because I felt I had the skill, you know, to get to where these people were. So I found the New York Barber Battle up in New York, and like I said, at the time I was still in school. I didn't have much money, I didn't have any funds, so I brought it to one of my teachers in school, and she actually got the school to sponsor me. So I flew up to New York, I ended up taking that trophy, and that was the first of many, because I was so amped up. You know, I went all the way to New York, first time traveling by myself, and I won this big trophy, first place, got a $1,000 check. It was amazing, an amazing experience. But that wasn't the one that meant the most to me. The one that meant the most to me, I came back to Barber Brothers about a year later, and they had the Andis overall competition. And it was a competition where you had to dress your model up, and you had to do the haircut to match the model's hair. So, and it was Andis has been, you know, my favorite company since I started. So it was just a big deal to me to compete in this battle. And I was still in school, and I went to this battle, and I prepped this haircut for about 2 months before I did it live. You know, I did it almost 5 times in the shop, or just, you know, in school, at the and I just practiced it. I had his outfit down packed. I did a big shark on one side and an octopus on the other, and then I dressed my man up as a scuba diver. He had the air tanks, the flippers, everything. So when he walked out on stage, you know, he was walking funny and everything. It was just it was an amazing experience. It was one that I really prepared myself for, because the first one, you know, I was kind of just winging it. Like, I didn't really know what I was getting into. But once I did that one, the Andis competition at Barber Brothers was kind of like, okay, you know, this time I need to prepare more. I need to do this. I need to do that. And it just meant a lot more to me because I put a lot into it, and my mom was there. You know, everybody that was supporting me at the time was there. It was just a big deal, you know. So that was probably one of the biggest highlights in my career.
Yeah, it's funny you should say that, because people that I speak to when we talk about barber battling, I say it's all in the preparation.
Yeah.
If you have that one model and you just do the haircut over and over and over and over again, when it comes, you know, the hot lights are on you and the pressure is on you.
Done it.
You've done it 100 times actually, and in your mind as well. So you're
and a lot of people don't do that.
Yeah,
you know, and
no,
that's where they kind of slip up.
Exactly, and I think that's what all the winners do, interestingly enough. Okay, so I'm sure that you can do every style of haircut. What haircut would you say you're specialising in right now? What's the trends for you this season?
Honestly, I don't think it's a specific haircut. I think it's more of a style, like a lot of the real close fades, like the bald fades, but also doing the trendy haircuts like the mohawks. You know, we're getting away from the designs now. Like, it's becoming an era where people are more into a clean cut haircut. So like the more skin fades where it's got a lot of detail, I think that's more my style right now. I don't think there's one particular haircut that I would say I do the most, but just bringing it down to the skin. If you follow me on Instagram, you know, you'll see that a lot of my haircuts, there's no, you know, I don't leave a one guard on the side or whatever. I just do, you know, mainly skin fades with a lot of detail.
Yeah, no, see them there. They're sick, as they say.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, very, very clean and tidy work. Yeah, so I commend you on that. And what would you say that your strongest area in barbering, what would you say your strongest skill is? Is it skin fading? Is it lines, patterns? What do you think that nobody can touch you at?
Man, that's a tough question, because I always feel I have room to grow. I don't think there's one area that I kind of feel that I'm the best at. There's always going to be somebody that's there ahead of you. You know, there's always people that I look up to that do really clean work. So there's not really one area where I'm like, oh man, I'm the best. Like,
okay, not the best, your strongest area.
My strongest?
Yeah.
Honestly, I think my strongest area isn't even, as far as being a barber, is not haircuts. For me, it's being organized, taking care of my clients on time, you know, booking appointments and being there when the client is there. You know, I think that's what's made me so successful in the barbershop, is just being available. You know what I mean? Like, some barbers can be really, really good, but their availability isn't there. You know, they might not show up to an appointment, or they might be 15 minutes, 20 minutes late. I pride myself on being punctual about my appointments. So that's why I cut a lot of people, like doctors, a lot of lawyers, a lot of people that have jobs, and they might come on their lunch break and, you know, might not have that time to sit in the barbershop and kind of hang out. So as far as being a barber, I think that's my specialty, is just being available and being on time.
Okay, and what tip or method could you pass on to another barber that could that could learn from your organization, if you like, to improve their game?
Well, it's getting pretty popular now. I've been doing it for about 6-7 years, but the online booking thing is something that a lot of barbers don't use, and I don't see why they don't use it, because it's like, it makes the job easier for us, but it also makes it more convenient for the client. So any online booking that you can do, I think that is essential for what we do on a day-to-day basis. A lot of times I don't even answer the phone, because my app is there for my clients. You know, that they already know that they can go on the app, book an appointment, I'm gonna be there. So there's no need for me to, you know, while I'm taking care of this client, be on the phone with the next client. There's no reason for that, you know. So it actually frees up a lot of my time, and it gives the client access to my schedule 24/7. So a lot of times, you know, it might be 2 a.m. and I got people booking me. I wake up in the morning and I got 6 notifications, you know, 6 different clients booking. Middle of the night, they didn't have to call me, they didn't have to text me. It's just convenient, and I feel like a lot of barbers aren't using this to their full advantage.
Okay, no, I was just asking out of curiosity. So Raw Cuts 1 and 2, what makes these two shops stand out from the rest of the competition in your area?
Honestly, the shops is just a family environment. You know, you can bring your kids, you can bring your wife, and you're all gonna feel comfortable in the shop. It's a real tight family in both of my shops. You know, all the barbers, you know, if you come in there, you'll feel the vibe. It's just a family environment. Like, we all help each other. There's no negative, you know, vibes in the air. It's just a good family environment.
And community environment.
Yeah,
too.
community, yep.
Okay, perfect. So we're here at the Primera Show, Florida. What will you be doing here today and for who?
I'm actually working for the Andis Clipper Company. I just taught a class. It was an all Spanish class on tools, how to use the tools, maintenance, how to clean them properly, how to use them properly. We actually did a haircut, and I actually taught them how to do the haircut with my techniques that I use on the day-to-day basis. I'll also be presenting on the stage at the Andis booth. So this weekend I'll just mainly be focused in on Andis and what we do as a company.
Perfect. Okay, so you've, in the last couple of years, become a huge inspiration to many barbers across the world. Who would you say your biggest inspiration in the industry was, or maybe to date?
Coming up in the barber game, I don't think I had this one person that I really truly look up to. I think I had multiple people, you know, that I felt they were good at something and I wanted to be just as good. You got the DL Master Barbers and Kenny Duncans who can speak really well. You know, they're great educators. They're, you know, you put them on the stage in front of however, they're gonna kill it. So I really look up to them in that aspect. You got dudes like Pacino and Curtis Smith who are really good businessmen. You know, they know how to put a product out there, promote it, get it in the stores. You know, so I look up to them in that aspect. You got barbers who are just good with the clippers. You know, even barbers that are just coming up. Andy Authentic, you know, Jesse Lima's always been one of my favorites. You know, so I don't think there was one specific person, but it's a multiple group of people in the industry that I kind of look at and I like to put into my own style, you know, what they do on a day-to-day basis. So I wouldn't say there's just one particular person that I just.
But Kenny Duncan and DL were instrumental in.
Yeah.
Or
yeah.
Not instrumental, were amongst two of your inspirations.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, great. And you've achieved a lot. What would you say your greatest moment in barbering has been over your 8-year career?
Getting my license. I mean, without that, I wouldn't be here, you know, and I truly believe that you're not a barber without that license. I see a lot of barbers working without, we don't respect barbers without license. So for me, that's the biggest moment. That's what opened the door for me. And that's what made me a barber. So getting my license is definitely one of my biggest moments.
Okay, so I've learned a lot about you, that you're a multiple award-winning barber. You've got 2 shops, you're Andis Educator. You've also got your own line of barbering apparels, Barber Life. Tell me a little bit about your apparels.
So Barber Life started a little after I went to my first show. I got with my partner, BV. He's New York Connect on Instagram. He does a lot of screen printing. He was doing screen printing at the time. I was more into the barbering side of things. So I reached out to him. I said, listen, there's a lot, we need to come together because there's no real barbering clothing line. There's no logo for barbering. So we came up with Barber Life. I don't know if you've seen it. It's Barber Life and it's got the crown. So we came together and we went to the Barber Brothers hair show with a backpack full of t-shirts and we sold out. You know, people were eating them up as soon as we pulled it out of the bag. You know, people from far were coming to buy our shirts. And so the next year we got a booth and then it was just a hit. You know, people were asking for Barber Life. We ended up having to put a website together and it's just taken off from there, man. We've done 50 plus shows. You know, we've done barber battles. It's just been crazy. The website, you know, theprofessionalsbarbershop.com. It's just been a blessing, man.
Okay, and where can people find, or where can barbers find this range of products?
They can find the clothing line at, like I said, theprofessionalsbarbershop.com. They can also follow me on Instagram at angel_RAWS. And we also have the Barber Life Apparel Instagram, which is the professionals barbershop_com.
Okay. And is there any plans in the future to have your own educational program independent of Andis? Because, you know, judging by your work on Instagram, you have a lot to teach.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there's many thousands of barbers out there that would love to learn from you.
Yeah, right now we're taking it day by day. You know, we're going to see where everything takes us, but eventually that is one of the main goals, you know, to take education as far as we can. And but right now we're just going to take it day by day, you know, keep pushing, keep working with Andis and just educating you guys as much as we can.
Okay. Angel Raw, in closing, what words of advice would you give to a young barber coming up the ranks with no real direction? What would be your words of wisdom that you would like to leave with them?
Don't be scared. You know, a lot of barbers, it might be financial. It might be that, you know, they don't want to get up on the big stage in front of so many people to compete. You know, you can't have that fear, because with fear, you're not going to get anywhere. You know, you're going to be stuck in a box where you're just stuck because you're scared to do anything outside of that box. So make sure you put yourself out there. Any opportunity that you get, you know, put yourself out there. Andis asked me to do a Spanish class. I mean, I speak Spanish every day to my mom, but it's not like I haven't spoke in front of a big crowd before. So that was something that it kind of challenged me. So when they asked me to do it, I did Puerto Rico, and it was just a challenge. You know, I had to go home, kind of get into the books as far as, you know, the right terms for clippers and the right terms for, you know, haircuts, the C strokes, the, you know, temple peak point, stuff like that, that I had to go back and kind of re-educate myself in Spanish so that I was able to give them what they wanted on the stage, you know. So that was something that was challenging for me. And yes, I was kind of scared and nervous to do it, but I still put myself out there, you know, because if I would have let that fear get to me, it would have held me back, and I wouldn't be sitting here right now telling you that I'm an Andis educator. So, you know, those are the things that I think the up and coming barbers, they seem kind of timid.
Okay, so basically, if you've got any limitations, you've got your private space of your kitchen or your bedroom, go into the bedroom or the kitchen and practice,
Always.
And research and translate in your particular case for today. Angel Raw, thank you very much for giving me your time. I'm sure there's a few nuggets there for other barbers to take away and emulate your success. Carry on doing what you're doing, and I'm sure there's a lot more to be coming from yourself. So keep on doing what you're doing.
And it was a pleasure meeting you. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome.
Thank you.